Ooh, it's tough.
Well, you know,
But
most parents,
because people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but people look as bottoms, not a lot of gays, but some gays, from my own experience, after having conversations about this with many of my peers throughout the years, and them expressing their feelings to me expressing my feelings to them. But from my knowledge, from what I had gained from different people from conversations, was that sometimes people don't like to tell people their sexual position right away, because once you tell somebody a sexual position, there's no conversation after that. They don't want to talk to you no more. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to hang out with you because you're not what they want you to be. And I am who I am. Even if I am a bottom, it should still be some kind of friendship and we can network and work together. But some folks don't take it like that. You sit up over there and say that you're a bottom, that's it. They don't want nothing to do with you because they can't get what they want from you because you're not the top. So, I mean, that's from my experience, listening to people in my own experience I have went through before. So because some folks they have a good conversation, and then when the time comes down to it, me, I don't like to waste my time. I tell you right up front and center, like I'm a bottom, I'm from Rhode Island, da 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 da. I'll give them the opportunity if they want to continue to talk, even if they are a bottom, I don't mind being their friends. But I still leave that door open. Like if I'm in their state, we can go out for drinks and have mimosas and things like that. But as soon as you say that you are a bottom, I don't know what that's all about. Like, but then again, some folks, when it comes down to dating, they want to know like what's what right then and there. I feel the same way too, as well. So I'm always like very straightforward, cut and direct with it.
Well, it's good that you're actually open and honest about that. A lot of times we did a little bit of research where we saw that a lot of fathers, we talked to a lot of older gentlemen about their sons being gay, not necessarily just Black men. We talked to just a few different gentlemen, and most men, even if they were okay with their son being gay, they didn't want them to be the bottom. And this was kind of shocking to us because when I asked this one older Black man, why wouldn't you want your son to be the bottom? He says, because he's the sissy. Like you said earlier, he's the weak one. He's the frail. And Black men are supposed to be looked at as strong and dominant. Now, a quick question. How do Black women see you? Because sometimes Black men, even on that are bottoms, can sometimes, and in our community, we call them sissified, or they're very feminine and all this stuff. How do Black women see you? Do they just think, what do they think of you when they see you and they see you maybe having bigger hips or a bigger butt and all these, and kind of, Seshan and, Shantan and all that stuff. What do you think they think?
Well, seeing that I'm in the spotlight all the time, I deal with a lot of women of color, actually. When I see my sisters, my Black people, my sisters and my brothers, but when I see my Black sisters out, we praise each other, we compliment each other. We tell each other how handsome, how beautiful you are. That's what we do over here. We do that. We uplift each other. It's never a competition about whose ass is bigger. Shit, I'm sorry. But, that's how we work around these parts of us. I can't speak for everywhere else, yeah, but I know like here, like we compliment each other. Like we praise each other. We try our best to work with each other. Like I just left that business meeting, like I was interested in the African jewelry and stuff like that. So we try to work with each other. And I never had that case when it comes to Black women over here, because we always seem to praise each other all the time. So
now I know. Now, a quick question. Now I know that you run into some opposition with men,
I do
and
that.
heterosexual men, and how do you cope with that?
I'm so glad you asked that question. It's a very important question, actually. I want to say if it was like 5 years ago, I probably would be cussing them out and saying all kind of nasty things to them.
Mhm.
But being age 31, I don't have that type of energy no more. That energy left my spirit. However, I had gotten to an altercation with somebody online about Little Nas X. And, I was commenting, the person was being nasty to me. And then, you know what I said to him? I said, I love you and you have a great night. Hashtag love wins. And when I tell you, when I wrote that, this man came back and inboxed me a very respectful note. And he said, we need more people like you. So we don't have to always reply back to a negative. We can always give a positive to a negative and turn that negative into a positive, like I just did. We need more of that. And that's exactly what I did.
Wonderful.
So
Now, that's wonderful. Now, let me just ask you, now, since you mentioned it earlier, what do you think about all of this Little Nas X controversy?
I must say um, that Little Nas X is doing a wonderful job when it comes to marketing. And the reason why I say this is because Little Nas X, I've been watching him. Little Nas X and his team knows exactly what they're doing. They know how to get the people talking. So when people are sitting up over here saying negative things about him, they're still talking about him. They're still mentioning him. When people are talking positive about him, they're still talking about him. So of course they're going to drive those numbers up. So either way, he has everyone talking, and this is why he's number one. He's making it because he has homophobics talking. You have the LGBTQIA plus community talking. Everyone's talking about him, and that's what he's doing, and that's what I'm seeing.
You
So,
know what I like the most about him, and it's
mhm,
not even because me, I really don't like rap, and I don't dance anymore like I used to, and all this kind of stuff.
mm,
But what I like most about him is when you watch the stuff that he's doing, you can see that it's not pushed or contrived. It's a natural thing from him. It's probably because he's so conditioned from all the stuff that was taught to him before, and
mhm,
it's irrelevant in this day and time. So I mean, stuff that he was doing with the BDSM stuff and the church stuff and the pregnancy, this usually would have people really up in arms. But
yeah,
but for some reason, it didn't get that boom that I thought it would get.
mm,
So that means that somewhere along the line, we are communicating and understanding, but still there's that opposition because of either the Bible or our backgrounds or where we're from. I mean, you're a young person, so I mean, I'm 60 years old, so it's your turn now. So I'm glad that it's coming from a young person about what is happening today. Now, what do you, can I just, I want to ask this question because I think it's important. Since the lockdown, and you haven't been able to really hook up because, the bathhouses and all these things are probably shut down now because of the pandemic and all these kinds of things. So what did you do during the pandemic when you were lonely?
all I did was really eat and go to work like 80 hours a week, and post like funny content all over my social media. And I kept myself busy because I felt like when I was in the house, I started to get really depressed.
Mhm.
So I had to pull myself together and get out the house. Even though there was COVID going on, I still was outside. I still was doing like photo shoots and stuff like that safely.
Mhm.
And that's how I made it through. Some folks, unfortunately, their stories are different from mine, but I just know that I kept myself busy, which is extremely important because when you are by yourself for all those months and days, hours, seconds, minutes, you tend to go crazy because you're behind four walls all the time. So I made sure I didn't fall into that depression. So I kept
Mhm.
myself busy.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about Black men on the DL. What is your advice to just men in general who might be of who I don't want to just say of color. The reason we focused in on of color is because of Black men, is because we don't talk about this. What do you say to Black men who are just bottoms or effeminate, and this is their sexual preference? This is what they like. I mean, because you're open, honest, and you're out. What do you say to them? What's your advice to them?
To the DL community?
You just know, not just to the DL community, to just Black men who might be questioning their sexuality or who might be doing things on the DL and and you know, stuff like that. To be like you, not
My,
necessarily like you, but to be just more honest with the people that they're hooking up with, or they're in a relationship with, or they're married to. And I mean, because it must be very hard for a man to leave his house with his 2 children and his wife
wife too.
and go and hook up with a man. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
I was just having some flashbacks, honey.
and for him to come home to his wife after this enjoyable experience, because he wouldn't have went over there on a continue. Because do you have regular DL men that see you that have children? Because you know most Black men have children somewhere.
Mhm. I would say at this moment, I don't have any, I don't deal with DL men like that. I don't have any DL men trying to, I mean, they're in my inbox, but I don't really reply back to it. I'm more of like a conservative bottom. I don't really be out there like that. But however, like when it comes to DL men, I try to stay away from that because it brings a whole bunch of negative energy with it, because it's like you're at the bottom of the barrel. They get what they want, they leave you there, and they go back to their wife and kids. And I'm not going to be number two for nobody because I'm going to be number one. It's either me or her. You make the decision, because I'm not going to sit up over here and get bust down and then you leave my house and then go back to your wife and kids and then hit me up and then talk about you catching feelings, but you're married with kids. I don't want to be confused. I don't want to go through any of that. So I try to just avoid that.
Okay, so let's just say Michael's out for a night, and you're feeling frisky, and you're looking for a man. Would you generally, where would you meet these men? Do you go to the spa? Do you do these? You know, people go to the drive-in movies with people. Do you pick them up at the bars? Where do you meet these men? And mainly men that you are looking for as being a top, because you know in most bars these days, these are usually little white twinks that are mostly bottoms.
Pretty much.
And so how do you find the kind of men that you are looking for?
Well, I want to say probably like about 80% of the time when I am at the club, they think that I'm a top because I'm like 6'2", 6'3". So I'm tall. So they look at me they see this beard, they see this cute face, they think that I'm a top. So I always attract bottoms my way. So that just doesn't work out for me. But there have been times where, there has been guys who come up to me and compliment me and tell me how good I look and things like that. And the conversation that goes from there. But right now, I haven't really been so focused on dating like I used to, because I have to get myself together first before I can date somebody else. So that's the most important thing with me. But back in the day, yeah, I would meet them at the bar and stuff like that. We'll go home, do 1, 2, 3, get out, see you later, boom, 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 because no one really wanted, still to this day, a lot of them don't want a relationship. They want to dip and dabble and then lead you on. And that whole entire time, as they're leading you on, they got a whole boyfriend and things like that. So it's like, I'm very cautious when it comes to dating somebody, because I don't want to get another letdown after letdown. I take a different stance from it now. So I have to really look into this person before I sit up over and give them the time of day, because I don't want my time to be wasted, because that time I invested into that person could have been time I invested into myself.
Okay, is same-sex marriage legal in Rhode Island?
Yes, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm actually, I actually was married, we'll say that.